We are in Mag Airgid. Of course, last time we were here, we drew what it was like arriving on the shores of this island. Now, what we're going to do is going to show and tell the story of what it was like to approach the castle, the keep of Mag Airgid. These people are rich. These people have power, so they will have a castle to represent that. That is what we think of what is happening here in this place. Small island, yet wields a lot of power, a lot of say in this world. What do you see when you approach a place like that? That's what we're going to find out, and we'll tell a story along the way. The living fortress of Mag Airgid. If you want to understand the power of Mag Airgid, you don't look at the maps, you follow the coin. Long before you reach the fortress, you feel the pull of its city. The roads leading into the territory of Mag Airgid are choked with supply caravans, mercenary retinues, and desperate merchant guilds. And then, as the coastal cliffs come into view, the city reveals itself. A sprawling, dense metropolis built directly at the base of the cliffs. The streets are a chaotic labyrinth of stone and timber, roaring with the noise of trade. Smelters bellow thick smoke into the overcast sky. Street hawkers yell over the din, and guards clad in polished silver-plated armour patrol every corner. On paper, this is the financial beating heart of Moraghal. Mag Airgid dictates the value of currency, funds kingdom-wide wars, and buys off every politician across the land. Towering high above the noise of the city, sitting on the cliffside like an ancient god carved of the rock, is the central fortress. Between the bustling city and the castle gates lies a buffer of desolate, razor-sharp terrain cut through by a massive winding stone staircase. It looks impenetrable, it looks absurdly wealthy. But keep your eyes open as you walk these streets. Listen closely to the whispers in the back alley taverns. Look at the eyes of the merchants when a guard walks by. Rumours are spreading like wildfire through the lower wards. Whispers that the family's grand empire is built on a lie. Whispers that the silver is running out. Leaving the roar of mark behind, I began the long climb up the cliffside stairs. The stairs are steep and exposed to the brutal gales of the ocean. Every step feels like a trial, built to force enemies to funnel into a killing zone. Look closely at the cliffside as you ascend. You can see old scorched scars in the rock from ancient sieges. High above the archways, fluttering on crimson flag, is their sigil, the Hare. In Irish folklore, the Hare is a creature of swiftness, subtle magic, and the other world. But here in Moraghal, the family chose the Hare because it burrows deep, hiding its treasure beneath the earth, while keeping a paranoid eye on the surface. When you reach the top, the sheer display of wealth is designed to make you feel small. Southern white marble, stained glass, rain gutters cast in solid silver. Or is it solid silver? Up close, an observant eye starts noticing the cracks in the facade. Some of the ornate silver trim on the outer gates isn't solid at all. It's debased metal, cheap iron plated in a thin coat of silver leaf that is beginning to flake away from the salt air. The family is desperately trying to maintain the illusion of infinite wealth, to hold on to their political dominance in Moraghal. If other lords find out the mines are drying up, the loans will be called in, the mercenaries will desert, and the family will be torn apart. They need silver, and they need it now, at any cost. I slip past the squad of guards and into the lower corridors of the keep. Up here in the daylight, High Lords argue over tax decrees, frantically juggling debts and manufacturing fake ledgers to fool visiting emissaries. But if you stand still on the flagstones of the inner courtyard, you feel it, a low, sickening vibration right beneath the soles of your boots. Thump, thump, thump. The silver mines are operating at a fever pitch. I slipped down a hidden stairwell into the gut of the rock. The air turned heavy, choked with damp iron, bitter mineral dust, and a sickly sweet stench that burned the back of my throat. This is the gateway to the vast cave system beneath Mag Airgid. One of many entrances, but this is the castle's. A labyrinth spanning miles beneath the castle, the city, and the sea floor. Because the silver veins are drying up, the ruling family has turned from mining to outright desperate cruelty. To keep output from dropping, they are snatching people directly from the city, allegedly. Debtors, political critics, refugees, even common labourers who saw something they shouldn't have are being said to be dragged up the stairs, thrown down into the dark and handed a pickaxe. They are working them to the death in desperate bid to scrape the very last veins of silver out of the deep earth. This is all I'm hearing from word of mouth deep in the city. One of the many legends hanging around Moraghal are about the deep dwellers. When human beings are locked in pitch black caverns for years, forced to breathe air thick with microscopic silver dust, the body rebels. Medical lore calls it argyria, silver toxicity. But in these subterranean shafts, combined with absolute isolation and starvation, it turns men into monsters. Or so the legend goes. The silver seeps into the prisoner's skin, turning it a ghostly metallic grey blue. It poisons their minds. They become the deep dwellers. Down in the deepest levels where the guards refuse to go, the miners have completely broken. Their eyes have grown wide, milky and unblinking. They no longer speak human tongues. They communicate in clicks, scrapes and guttural shrieks that echo through the mines, and here lies the darkest secret of Mag Airgid. The deep dwellers aren't just mining silver anymore. Driven mad by poison and lightlessness, they have begun tunneling into ancient, forgotten pockets beneath the sea caves, digging up something else. Unearthly, tarnished ores and strange artefacts that the family is quietly smelting in secret, mixing it with cheap metal to strike fake silver coins. The lords of Mag Airgid are literally poisoning the realm's economy with corrupted metal just to stay in power, while keeping a horde of grey-skinned, crazed former citizens chained in the dark to do their dirty work. If you were to believe such things. I made my way back up the stairs, slipping out of the grand gatehouse and back onto the winding stone steps overlooking the city. From up here, looking down at the sprawling streets of Mag Airgid, the city feels like a house of cards waiting for the wind to shift. The family holds onto their thrones by a thread. They sit in white marble halls wearing rusted crowns painted in silver leaf, terrified of the day the truth comes out. If the city finds out their sons and daughters were dragged into the mines to hide a lie, if the lords of Moraghal realise the silver backing their treaties is worthless debased iron, Mag Airgid won't need a siege to fall. It will burn from the inside out. As I reached the bottom of the steps and melted back into the crowded city market, I felt a faint tremor beneath the cobblestones. Another shaft collapsing maybe. Another chamber opening in the dark. Who knows? The lords of Mag Airgid are running out of silver, but down in the dark the deep dwellers are running out of patience. If you ever travel through the realm of Moraghal and someone hands you a shiny silver coin stamped with the mark of the Hare, look at it closely, because the empire that minted it is built on a lie, and the debt is about to come due.